Friends, now we are going into the topic of evolution. So, this is an introductory topic to make us what is evolution and to understand how the forms of evolution are there and biodiversity in, in an easy manner. Coming to the first, what is evolution? It changes over time. It occurs to species, not individuals. Means species means more of the group of the population. Explains the diversity on Earth today. Means different organisms on the Earth today. What is a diversity? A great variety of types of living things are there on the earth that we call it as diversity. So between species. So between species itself we have a variations. So 10 to 100 million species are there on earth. Within the species, if there are the differences that we call it as diversity, results of evolution. So this is the diversity in one, for example, in an aquarium itself, you can see many different types of fishes, organisms, sponges, cnidarians, mollusk. All these are diversity, means we have a different species. For example, in this picture, it is clear that we have the bacteria, zooplanktons, phytoplanktons, and we have this common seaweeds. All these things are different to each other, that we call it as diversity. So in this picture also you can able to see the cnidarians, mollusk, sponges. Next. So in this picture these are the echinoderms. We have the crustaceans, opoda, ostropoda, melacastroca. So which are the crayfish, prawns, mantis shrimp, krill, crab, sandhopper, ostracod, copepod, barnacles, brine shrimp. So all these things are different species, which tells us about the diversity. So this is the picture, one more picture about the diversity. So this is the evolutionary tree. So initially it is been starting from the protist, protozoans, protophytes, coelenterate, sponges, echinoderms, so worms, vertebrates, bryozoans, brachipod, mollusk, archids. So all these things together we call it as evolutionary tree. How the evolution will work? Explained by Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace. So Darwin wrote on the origin of species. How evolution works means Darwin visited the Galapagos Island on HMS Beagle. So that is the ship on which he went into the Galapagos Island. So overpopulation, more individuals burn that can survive. Second one, competition. For limited resources, some will survive and some will not. Variation. Differences among the individuals, a result of genetic mutation in the DNA. Next, adaptation. Some variations gives some individuals a slight survival advantage. So these we call it as favorable traits. For example, for a giraffe, the long neck is a favorable trait to eat the leaves of the trees. Natural selection. These with the best traits survive, reproduce and pass the favorable traits on to their offspring. So the mechanism of evolution. So the natural selection result in reduced armor in the sticklebacks. So in this picture, we can able to identify that ancestral stickleback marine population had full body armor and harbored a low frequency IDA variant. So this is the predominant form. Under the natural selection, IDA variant swept to high frequency in the freshwater population, yielding a reduced armor morphology. So this again, those type of population is being developed. Means nothing but the survival for the fittest, who has been adapted to the environment, their population will increase and further species will be developed from that type of population. So the natural selection is resulting in reduced armor in sticklebacks. So speciation. Changes build up and the species changes over time. So in this variant we have this type 1 species, type 2 species and type 3 species. Coming to the next, adaptation. Traits or characteristics that help an organism survive in its ecosystem. There are three types of adaptations. One is structural adaptation. Physical structure that helps the organism to survive, we call it as structural adaptations. Chemical adaptation. Chemicals that help the organisms to survive, we call it as chemical adaptations. Behavioral adaptations. Behaviors that helps the organisms to survive is behavioral adaptations. Camouflage allows an organism to blend with its environment. We call it as camouflage. It is also a type of adaptation. Warning coloration. Bright colors make an organism easily recognizable. So bright colors of an organism will be so those we call it as warning colors. Mimicry. One species is protected by resembling as another species or part of an organism. For example, flatworm is mimicking a toxic nudie branch. So this flatworm is been mimicking with a toxic nudie branch. Isolation. If one part of the population is separated or isolated from another, speciation is more likely. So this is the isolation picture. Through the process of evolution by natural selection, we have the great diversity of organisms that inhabit the earth today. So this is the initial introduction about the evolution. Okay, thank you very much. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel.